we talk about art and art history and food and different techniques to kind of help you become like a better artist. So, yeah. My breakfast today is a sweet potato, Japanese sweet potato quiche. I made it from scratch. Put my hands in this. I used a lot of kitchen utensils also, but I did make the ketchup. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. That's pretty good. So my problem is I have diabetes. And I'm a 1.5. So although I take medication, I'm kind of stuck with this. Um, but I really love all the recipes that have kind of become apparent to my work. I don't think this is muted. I can kind of slowly, a little bit here, I can hear myself talking. It's very unsettling. You ever heard yourself talk before? It's very eerie. It's got a weird feeling to it that I don't like. Um, I think I forgot the cheese. I feel like there's cheese in quiche. And then I forgot to do that. Whatever. I think it's good. It's obviously not vegan because, eggs, but a replacement for the crust is the Japanese sweet potatoes, which are actually really good. So sometimes, not all the times, I do a pre-show on Instagram. So if you want to watch me on that, every Monday, coming now, every Monday, I do, and on my channel, which is Jaws underscore Blake. Ta-da! And yeah, I just make a bunch of food. I've been working on a couple of projects this week. I finished a commission, which was really beautiful and nice. I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy with it. And of course, the mug is here. I'd just be really dangerous the whole show and maybe spill this. Spill hot coffee on myself, but I'm not going to do it. So I did this fun commission that I'm pretty proud of. So I have a friend who really loves Luke Cage, but they love like Power Man Luke Cage back in the day. And they love this scene where Luke Cage breaks into Latveria. This is all Marvel Comics things, for those who don't know. Because Doctor Doom owes him $200 for I think it's either a bet or it's a job he did. And he stiffed him on it, so he came back there. He beat up a bunch of people and came back. And Doctor Doom basically says, "When I heard there was like an ornery black dude who was beating up people in my town, I knew it had to be you, Luke Cage." And I'm like, it's always been this silly thing that he and I have joked about. And his birthday was Saturday. I meant to get it to him then, but I just didn't have time. But, boo. There you go. It's little, but I think it's nice. And I mean, I'm not a lettering person, so yeah, the letters are not legible. But it's just fun, man. I think you should occasionally do some fun work. Do some fun work that does not have anything to do with any of your projects or any of your big things or whatever. You just got to figure out a way to like make stuff and do stuff and like be a part of that. So that's kind of what I do, outside of my actual work that I do. But it's like this really beautiful painting thing. So I have a simulcast going on right now, YouTube, with my Instagram. So before you joined us, we were talking about that it's MLK Day, and that's the only significant thing that's happening today. And yeah, it was interesting. I remember growing up as a kid. My mom had me go to a private school. Instagram, you hear the story twice. I'm sorry. My mom had me going to a private school for, I think, like fourth and fifth grade. I think that's right. And it was very, it was like a black private school in North Carolina, somewhere in North Carolina. I'm not sure where. And they would take us to the library in Charlotte. They would take us down to the city library. I think it was in West Charlotte, actually, if I remember properly. We would go to the library and we would get books about famous black people and we'd read about them. Because, like, in all honesty, like, it's funny when I hear people, like, gripe and act weird about stuff like that because they're like, why do they focus it on this? And it's like, cool, well, you tell me what you know about any of these people. And then I'll wait and have you explain the history, the correct history of minorities in America via English, via American school books. I'm waiting for the deafening silence to stop. Exactly. I think the funniest thing that I've learned throughout the years is that I have friends and fans and great conversations with other people from other countries who know way more about this stuff than we do. So there's a certain aspect of like you have to, in order to learn things, you kind of have to reach beyond the aspect of like what a school book taught you. Because they've only got so much they can teach you in the time period in which you're working, and also fan books and all this other crazy stuff. So it is what it is at that point. But it is although I don't find it fair, there is an explanation on the aspect of you have to, the challenge is there for you to move forward and and then learn at the pace that you can a more broader stroke of history. That's all I'll say. I really like this. Like I said, I forgot the cheese. That's on me. But beyond that, it's actually really good. I don't know. It's just I remember getting out of high school, going into college, and learning about James Baldwin and Medgar Evers and Fred Hampton, Huey Lewis, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and just so many people. So many people. Rosa Parks, like beyond the one day. And just so many people from so many different backgrounds who are working to do civil rights things. Finding or learning more about Bernie Sanders, even that Bernie Sanders was on the march on Selma. Like, that's impressive. Selma itself. It's just interesting. Jackie Robinson, Jimi Hendrix, Angela Davis. Like, it's kind of amazing, honestly. Like, I feel very proud and happy that I allowed myself to learn more. Gregory Hines. I learned so much about all these people, and I feel really proud that I was able to find inspiration to learn more about these people. And it just feels good. So like I said, happy MLK Day. I think this channel is a good example of multiple groups of people coming together in a little community to share ideas, to have conversations, to be available, to learn things. So, I feel pretty happy about it. I feel pretty happy about it. Like I said, did a fun little commission. And we're going to take the day as easy as it'll come, honestly. That's the big plan. To find that the objective of most things is to just kind of learn as you live. It's good. Some might say there's an inauguration going on today. I choose not to really watch something of said nature because it kind of sucks. So I'm not going to do it. It's my big plan. Do all the things I need to do there. And I'm going to celebrate all the wonderful people that made my life beautiful. I was talking to my mom. Apparently I have some family members who are enjoying these now. So, hello. I look like you, you look like me. You'll understand that. Yeah. Hi. For the most part, I'm gonna read. I've been reading Wool, this book. It's a Silo book, the series Silo. It's like this dystopian type of future. And I'm really enjoying it, honestly. It's a really good book. It's called, like I said, it's called Wool. I was like, Lou? Lao? It's called Lao? Yeah. Wool. It's a good book. It's a really good book. I like it. I like it a lot. It's good characters. Good story. My big plan today is I'm going to film some content for my channel. I keep hearing all these random people say, you know, it must be really hard being someone over 40 who has a channel. And I'm like, I've been doing this since I was in my 20s. At this point, it just kind of is what it is. There's so many art videos on my channel. There's at least 1,000. There's so many videos, I switch mediums a couple of times on how I switch mediums, and then I switch subject matter, and then I switch painting styles, all types of things as this goes on. I learn about photography, I learn about videography, I learn about copyrights, I learn about all types of stuff. It's interesting. I think the funniest thing is I haven't done anything that I haven't used any copyrighted music in a long time, but I still get hit with like weird kind of random things that say I'm using copyright things, even though there's no music on. So that's a fun little weird bit. I'm thinking mostly I plan on trying to just get a lot of stuff happily accomplished today. I think that's a good way to look at it. Happily accomplished. So I was recently informed by people much smarter than me that I should be signing up for art grants. I, much like you, am not exactly sure how to do that. So they suggested I ask questions of the almighty Google via AI, their AI systems. And I've been having some interesting conversations, honestly. I've been learning a lot. I am late for most of the ones that I would like this year, but that doesn't mean I can't be prepared for next year. And I'm excited about it because they're for living stipends, they're for studios, they're for all these types of things that I do. And I'm just excited for it, honestly. I'm excited that I've got this project that I'm working on. I'm very reluctant about it, though. I got to be honest. Like, there's a part where it's like, "Hey, upload a portfolio, and I'll help you figure out how to come up with ways to organize it, and then describe it, and do all these things." And I'm like, I don't want to give you my artwork. I was like, I feel like this is a trap. Like, there's a certain aspect of where we're both kind of feeling each other out. Like, it's like, maybe I don't know. You might be trying to steal all my artwork for some algorithm or whatever. Not an algorithm, but you might be trying to steal my intellectual property because I uploaded it to you. It's not like having a conversation with a friend. Like this thing scrapes. I mean, there's a very good possibility it's already done it, but I've always made it a point, other than my professional actual stuff, I don't take really great photos of my artwork that are online because I don't trust people not to steal artwork like they do. It's kind of one of those sad things that happens. I don't typically put like the highest quality photos up that are completely unobstructed because people be scamming, people be stealing. You gotta be aware of these moments that you are you're gonna be in that weird position, where sometimes internet be scamming, you know, and AI is like the brain of the internet, so the brain of the internet would probably be scamming also. But yeah, it's just something about downloading my uploading my artwork to a image scraping system seems kind of like a foolish idea. So I'm not doing that. But I am getting information on how to kind of format and how to do all these things. And so I'm learning as I go. I mean, I've been a painter for over 40 years now, and I'm still learning new stuff all the time. Like, grants are not a new thing, they just exist. They go, they do, they flutter. So I find myself kind of at that point where I'm working on things, but I'm also like consciously making a point to not not screw myself over with my hubris of using something that I think is, I don't think it's detestable, but I mean, I can't trust those things. I just can't. I don't have it in me. I want to see. I don't think of AI as like a weird thing where I have no concerns about like Skynet type of situation. Like, I'm a student of history of America and the world. Like, the biggest problems that most people of color face are not robots, so to speak. Or if those programs are problems, because the people who program them are the problem. So there's that. So I'm not worried about fictional boogeymen, so to speak. I'm more along the lines of I'm aware of how wealth is accumulated in this country, and oftentimes it's kind of taking advantage. This is the socialist part of the show. I'm aware of how the wealthy make their money. It's typically off the backs of the working class and or the poor, and so I'm reluctant to help the rich just explode with wealth off of everything that everybody else has been working on. So my worry is there. if I feel like if AI was just like a person, like a personality that they weren't gonna scrape and then plug and then unplug and then delete and undelete and so on and so forth, I'd feel better about it because then it'd just be us having a conversation. But I know it's devious in a lot of ways. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of artists who are like, I just use it to do everything. They're like, I make it edit my videos, I make it cue up sounds, I make it compose for me, I make it write and rewrite things so that it works better with algorithms and all that stuff. And I'm like, it makes sense. You use a computer personality of sorts to like talk to another computer personality of sorts. So I get that, but it's a little wild at the same extent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little kind of strange, complex, little weird case scenario of am I training my replacement type of thing. And I think the funny part about it is like, no. I think I think what I do, although is important via history, because I think all artists are important via history's kind of thumbprint as the people go. The art remains, and it tells stories about how people existed. Um, People forget how important it is, and then they just kind of overlook it. So I don't see that being a case. Like my clients who buy artwork from me are not going to stop buying my artwork from me because they have a robot that makes shitty shiny versions of what I do. Like AI all has kind of has that shine to it, that weird gloss that goes on there. Like you can, if you've seen enough of it, you can tell the difference. It's less about the weird fingers now and the faces and like the weird mouths and stuff like that. It's less about that or eyes, too many eyes. They fixed most of that, but it's still they've all kind of got the same filter going. Like it's like a weird Pixar like thing going on there. So I don't know. I don't know. None of it looks handmade. I guess is kind of the thing, which maybe that might be a selling point for some people. Maybe you think handmade looks like shit. I don't know. But Basquiat didn't think that, and he's a little genius man. So there you go. Who I remember people saying over and over again when I was younger that I reminded them of Basquiat, and I hated that because I thought, why can't I just be me? And then the more I learned about Basquiat, the more I kind of understood where they were coming from. Our styles, as far as painting go, are not similar in a lot of ways. I mean, I guess there are some overlays, but it's more along the lines of like our history is very similar, our where we come from in the world is very similar. Being Afro Latinos who have parents and family from the Caribbean is one thing. Being kind of you call yourself a rebel, you're kind of an asshole, but I had a rebel streak going on, and just kind of all those things. Like I see it now, and I really appreciate his work. I remember I got to see it in a museum in DC, and it was so powerful and huge. The scale of it alone was just overtaking. I don't know if I have. I swear I know I had one of his books around here. I just have to figure out where it is so I can show you. Because I'm sure there's some of you who have no idea who Basquiat is, and will look at this and go, who? What now? What guy? This guy. And this is Basquiat. This is Basquiat. Jean-Michel Basquiat. Big Ty. What's up, cousin? So this is Basquiat. He was this really amazing artist, actually. And like I said, we did not do we've never done similar artwork, but I did learn to appreciate his artwork. The freeness, the messaging, the beauty and the color. Like I think the beauty and the color of his work were probably some of the best things about just that time in art. You know what I mean? Like that time in art was incredible because it was very honest in a lot of ways. In a way that like America had not been prepared to see honest art at that time. So it was just kind of incredible to see an artist that was willing to really put it out there. You know? But that is Jean-Michel Basquiat. Amazing artist. I have been working on some of my things that I've been working on, doing lots of painting, doing lots of little works, as well as like big works, as I always do. And I finished that page I showed you I was working on a couple of days ago, last week, I believe. And I'm just kind of going to the next one. This is that page I was working on. So a lot of these I do. I do these because I thoroughly enjoy textures. I'm working on this one. I thoroughly enjoy textures. I think textures are really important. I think they're really beautiful. I think they have this quality to them that when you see a really good drawn texture, like a hand-drawn texture, you can almost feel it with your hands. Your mind thinks you can feel it with your hands. So, that's kind of what I'm working on. Trying to see. Which book are we going to look at today? We haven't looked at any of these guys. Back here, I don't believe. Let's see which one this one is first. I guess no, I think we looked at this one. So this is a very old sketchbook I did. One day I'll make these all into like a big book. It's an extremely expensive coffee table book. So at this point in time in my career, I believe I was probably going into coffee shops in Tacoma Park, and I was working on all these like wild kind of ideas and concepts. I was also studying a lot about Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was a famous black boxer in the 1920s. He was world champion of boxing and was black, which was unheard of at the time. They had a all black boxing association, which was the only way they were going to allow them to do. It became so dominant and powerful and popular that he was allowed to fight for the world heavyweight championship, which was against white boxers, and he won. He was ridiculously bigger than all of them. Like, you can look it up. He fought the world champion at the time, and it looks like it looks like a pro wrestling match. Like, that's how mismatched these two are. And he just beat the dog shit out of this guy. He almost threw him, basically. And he was not a perfect person. I won't say that he ever was, but he's an interesting story. I saw his gloves when I went to the African American History Museum in DC for the Smithsonian. I got really into like totem poles. Like, it's a Native American practice where you cut the spirit animal faces into giant wood logs, basically, and then it's like a fallen art, a found art remake type of thing. It's really beautiful and amazing. My friend is from New Mexico, and he used to show me artwork of how they would find these arts laying about, these fallen logs laying about, and they would paint them, and they would carve them, and they would do all these strange little kind of beautiful things with them. I started doing a lot of gestural type drawings for a little while because I wanted to free up my hand. Like the whole practice of like opening your shoulder and your elbow and your hands and your wrists and your fingers is like a really big thing for me. It's almost meditative in a lot of ways, where you just kind of draw and make these things. I also think another thing, my wife always points this out, sketchbooks are not meant to be these things where you have these perfectly drawn, finished artworks. Like your work is meant to be messy and a little ugly and crazy and just abundantly strange. And it doesn't need to lead anywhere or anything in any way. But the thing I like about doing these are I have so many of these little books. Like literally, there's at least probably about a dozen or so of these little guys. And I like to get a nice, like, mixed media, cold press paper ones. So that way I can do, they don't bleed through, and I can use both pages. And I just fill them. I fill them with as much art and strange inspiration as I can. I think strange inspiration is important, and you just need to kind of just make things sometimes, just for the sake of being able to make them. You don't need really much other reason than that. And then I come back to them on occasion. I come back and I think about them in a representative way, like in a type of, I am an artist and these are my little time capsules. And they have all these ideas in my mind of things I think of as like textures and designs and tattoos and t-shirt designs and all types of stuff. And you just go for it. You don't need, every book doesn't need to be the most perfect book. That is not the goal nor the distraction of trying to be a part of what you're doing. You only really truly need to be able to be this artist that is willing to try things and find out whether they look good or they're bad or they pull away or they change the face of existence, or like, it doesn't have to be that deep. Just make stuff, you know? Just make stuff. Make things and then understand that like they're not all leading to like this perfect kind of concept. But they're not all leading to like nothing either. Like some of these pages have become things. They've become actual parts of my artwork in real artworks, real paintings. Not that these aren't real artworks, but you know what I mean. Like they've become actual things that I've worked on and made into my art that I've sold and done, etc. for. Like, it's interesting to me because depending on what these stickers are, I know what generation of thoughts I had going on at the time, where all these strange little kind of concepts were coming in and out of. How many years ago it was since I worked on them and made them into what I wanted them to be. I'm one of those people who pays attention to his dreams, and I write things down sometimes when I wake up, or I record myself saying something when I wake up so that I keep the ideas going. And it's important to me because it works really all really well, honestly. Like this ended up being something that I actually made into a piece as a commission for someone many years ago. and it was like they wanted like an old school camera and like one of my crow paintings. And so we came up with an idea that I liked really a lot, put it together, and then I saw Godzilla versus Kong and it stuck with me, so I had to make some artwork about it. And it's all just freehand, wild and crazy things, ideas I have for like gifs. I forget how they're pronounced. For stuff I wanted to do, and so on and so forth. Like we had to kind of figure it all out. This became a painting, a part of a painting. Some of you might have remembered it. It was like this one that I said look, kind of reminded me of like Daria. I had these little black ladybugs that were coming into my studio, and so I did little studies of them because they were weird and strange and beautiful. But I just enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. I thought they were really cool. I would love. I know this is long shot, but I would love. I'm at 378 subscribers right now. I would love so much if we got to 380 this month. 2 people. you know? I mean, I'd love to be at 400. I'd love to be at 1,000. I'd love to be at several thousand. I think those would be interesting. But I'm not going to rush anything because things will happen in the time span in which they happen. It is that odd little need of wanting it now. And I have lots of fans. I have lots of people who are collectors. I have all these little weird kind of wonderful experiences throughout my life that make me feel very happy and proud of being an artist. And so I'll just do those things. I think the funny thing about trying to succeed in some type of social media aspect is like social medias come and go. I've watched the fall of several. And so I'm not too worried about whether I can master each one before they disappear. So this one I really like. This one was going to be like a animation for when my channel cut off. I was going to have like a page where it's like something takes a bite out of a popsicle, and then it says ciao, chagaladas, and I just always liked it. And then the other is my sculpture that I'm going to make into a piggy bank at some point. This guy, my Che Gorilla piece. And I don't know. I love it. I love it so much. These are my creepy little luchadors that I did, and these became weird little stickers, and they're many variants of very weird stickers. You collect each one. I gotta make some more. That reminds me. I gotta make like a bunch of different ones. I've got green. Let me see. There's the green one and there's the blue one. So I need some other colors that I need to do. I don't ever want to really do skin colors. I like the idea that they are mystical in a way. There was this cool design I saw somebody do of a snake eating its tail. And so I was like, I'd love to make that in my own style. And I think that's what sketchbooks are for. Sketchbooks are for learning from other things that you enjoy and other things that you like, and then going from there about it. And I just think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's meant to be fun. I think it's meant to be this idea of things. These are different t-shirt designs I wanted. Different things that I wanted to do and find. Like right now, I'm working on a composition for what I want to do with my little comic book that I want to put together. My comic strip, my comic book. Where did I put it? This is the problem with having a studio that's kind of everywhere sometimes. You gotta find stuff. You can tell people about things. You gotta climb over stuff, reach for things, and then do that. So I've dedicated a sketchbook to the actual comic. I hope you're enjoying the view of my butt. And from that, I've got the studies that I've been doing. So at first, I wanted to kind of look at compositions that artists came up with. So I started just making all these weird kind of compositions for what I was going for as far as paneling goes. And I did like, I don't know, like 50, 60 of these things. They're all a little different. Um, some are a little extreme, some are a little more kind of traditional. But from that, I decided I was going to study some artwork that I really enjoyed. Like, really, really, really enjoyed. And so I started looking at some old comic books I had from David Mack. And so I studied the way that he does kind of layouts. Because I think when you look at something, you should always kind of see what you like about it and then learn from that. What do you like about it? What part of the way that someone, if you want to become a good storyteller, like pay attention to how this is Paul Pope, how they tell stories and the mechanisms in which they kind of reach out to you that grabbed you. So Paul Pope was also a comic book artist. I did 70 for him. Weather Delidera is she does, or they do, a comic book called Something is Eating the Children. And I really love that book. And so, kind of a monster book. But I love the way she does her layouts. So I did those. I think I did a few other artists. I think I did like Mike Mignola, who does Hellboy, and then I also did I just did Mike Mignola. So Mike Mignola and things of such. So yeah, it was cool. I really liked it. Honestly, I thought it was fun. For the most part, I'm also figuring out the new layout for all kind of posts that I do on social media for Painter's Breakfast and like Painter's Vlog and the shorts and stuff like that. When I was in art school, they made us learn how to do website design. Was a class we took. And for website design, what you do is you oftentimes draw out what you want it to look formatted to look like, and then that's then how you would go back and use Photoshop or Procreate or whatever to Procreate didn't exist. Procreate or whatever to make a lot of these kind of images and stuff like that. So, like even for like my art shorts, I have like a blast that I do at the end of each week. And yeah, you can see those on my website. You can see those on. See those on my website. You can see those on my Patreon, which I would love for you to join. I'd love for you to join my YouTube. I'd love for you to join my Patreon. There should be describers, links somewhere down below. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I'm a busy man doing busy things, and I hope you are well for the rest of the week. Don't let the orange menace wear you down. We will be here for each other, and we'll fight together. That's what we do. So, I love you, Galeras. Be well, be nice to yourselves, and I will see you next time. Painter out. Bye. Wonk. And on the Instagram first. And for you, my lovelies. I hope you're well. I hope all these things treat you properly and that you realize you are incredible. I love how like doing this is extra difficult to talk and do these things. But yeah, I just hope you're well, honestly. I hope you're well. I hope you have a good week. I hope all your fun bits stay fun and beautiful and you are appreciated and loved this whole week, and you're there for each other. Hola Galeras. In or out. Ciao. Bye.